You know what I expect of white women? Not a damn thing. Nothing. I expect nothing of you because you have never given me anything. I can't trust you.
But how can we come together when you say something like, I will never trust a white woman?
Why are your feelings so hurt?
Both of you, though, has been about...
It's like a hate against us. Like, I feel like it's like...
It's been very aggressive.
That really like hurts me that somebody would not.
But why are your feelings more important than the reality of the violence of our lives?
I know Syra, and when she says she doesn't trust white women, and I consider her a friend of mine, I also understand why she doesn't trust me. I don't take that personally.
But to say you're your friend, but she doesn't trust you is also a hard thing for me to accept the same.
Why on earth is it about you?
You don't have to look at my color of my skin saying I'm white to not trust me. Why don't you look past that I'm white and say she's a good person?
Because
Why
her entire life, we've never given her a reason to trust us.
We're trying to tell you what it's like. We are trying to tell you, and the first thing that a lot of you at this table have done has been this. And I want you to sit with that.
Recently saw a video of a black woman telling a group of white women that she will never trust them and will always be suspicious without even getting to know them just because they're white.
You know what I expect of white women? Not a damn thing. Nothing. I expect nothing of you because you have never given me anything. I can't trust you.
I want to explain why I am totally okay with that and why you should also be okay with it. As a white person, I have a weapon system that was built right into my skin from the day I was born that I can use against black or brown people whenever I want. And even though I have no intention of doing that, I could. And that's what matters. Let me explain it this way. Imagine that there are two people sitting across from each other at a table, but one of them has a weapon aimed at the other. And this person keeps reassuring the other person saying, trust me, I'm not going to pull the trigger. I know every single other person that's looked like me has pulled the trigger, but I won't. I think anyone choosing to get up and walk away from that table and not take the chance is completely reasonable.
There are many white people who mean right and in heart want to do right, but there are so few. If 10,000 rattlesnakes was coming down that aisle now, and I had a door here I could shut, and in that 10,000, 1,000 meant right. 1,000 rattlesnakes didn't want to bite me. I knew they were good. Should I let all these rattlesnakes come down, hoping that 1,000 get together and form a shield? Or should I just close the door and stay safe?
Nobody owes us anything. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter how much you learn. Consent doesn't just apply to the physical body. It applies to the mental body, the social body, the emotional body. You can do everything right, and people still get to say.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and here are 3 things that don't bother me as a white person. Number 1, when a person of color says they don't trust white people, I absolutely understand the sentiment and am not offended if you don't immediately trust all white people. On account of white people colonizing the world and then setting up a system of slavery and not taking accountability for any of the racism, I think this is a totally valid statement. It doesn't bother me because I don't feel like I contribute to the system in this way. Number 2, when a person of color says they don't date white people. Again, I'm not offended by this because even if the white person that you're seeing is really cool, their parents or their family might be crazy. They might be uber racist or come from a really strange environment and family that, quite frankly, you don't want to be involved with. That doesn't make you feel safe, which makes sense. And number 3, when people of color don't follow white feminist accounts. I understand there's a lot of white feminists who don't talk about intersectionality at all, or queer white feminists who don't talk about intersectionality, which is bizarre because every single struggle is so intimately connected. If any of these things bother you, you are taking this way too personally, and I recommend that you do the work to deconstruct what's going on. Because not everything's about you, and there's a racist system in place that you are probably contributing to. Okay, bye! Hi, I'm Kylie, and here are 3 things that don't bother me as a white person. Number 1, when a person of color says they don't trust white people.
All right, white folk, if you've ever wondered what black people feel about you, many black Americans feel about white Americans and why, okay? Let's talk. Because I'm tired of all these fake conversations. You know, people always want to ask, why do black people seem distant or cautious or skeptical towards white people? They usually, when you all ask that as white people, you're usually expecting some type of emotional answer. But the response is not emotional, y'all. It's historical. It's based on history. It's sociological. And it's a pattern. See, for first thing, black people are not a monolith. We're not all the same. Some blacks are married to white spouses, right? Some of us have white best friends. Some of us work in white dominated spaces every day and thrive. But there is still something that exists underneath of that, y'all. And it's called collective memory. You hear that, white folk? Collective memory. Let's talk about sociology. That's why I just love sociology, the study of people and concepts and things, because the sociology of trust. Trust is built through consistent safety over time. Let me repeat that. Trust is built over consistent safety over time. So as a parent, your kid knows, oh, my mom is going to feed me every evening at 5 because you've consistently been feeding Jimmy at 5 for the past 3 years. So you have built up a trust. Your kid knows that based on history of my mother and what she's done for me in the past 3 years, she's consistent with what she's going to do today. Well, that's how it is with black people and our feelings towards white folk. If a group experiences enslavement, as black folk did, legal segregation, voter suppression, housing discrimination, medical exploitation over centuries now, our actual nervous system, the nervous system of that group, we adapt. So that's not opinion. That's called trauma science. Okay. Communities develop protective instincts. It's for the sake of survival, right? And America has a long documented record of racial hierarchy. See, this isn't ancient history. The Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. That's not even one lifetime ago. You understand? So let's talk about data, because some of you all are really stuck on data. Studies from Pew Research consistently show a significant racial trust gap in America. Black Americans report lower levels of trust in institutions, law enforcement, and government compared to white Americans. That distrust didn't appear out of nowhere. It follows experiences, and experiences follow policy. So let's talk about economics and pattern recognition. Let's talk about redlining. Redlining wasn't a rumor. It was federal policy. The GI Bill disproportionately excluded black veterans. Mass incarceration, police disproportionately affected black communities. When you see patterns repeat across generations over and over and over again, you don't call it coincidence. You call it structure. And structure shapes perception, you all. So what do many black people think? We don't necessarily, not all of us, some of us do now, but not all of us think hate. Most of us don't think revenge, but caution. Oh yeah. Many black Americans operate what I call earned awareness. And what this is it's understanding that individual kindness does not erase systemic patterns. See, so that's why we can come to work and smile in your face with you white folk. And all along, we know from what our mama, our grandmama, our granddaddy, our great-grandparents and everything, not only what they've told us, but what we've seen and experienced. I can't trust her. White man talk with what? Fourth tongue, right? We can't trust what you say. You can smile in our face. You can do all that you want to do. Take us out for drinks, whatever. But history never lies. So, earned awareness is what we operate in. It's to understand that individual kindness does not erase systemic patterns. You can like the individual white person. I can still like you as a white person and still question white systems. That's nuance. You understand? That's how some interracial couples really make it and survive, because they realize, listen, this white person or this white person may not be racist. However, there are systems put in place that are. That nuance makes people uncomfortable, though. So let me speak plainly to you all, okay? If you're white and you never personally harmed a black person, right? Consciously, that you know of. This conversation is not accusing you, but if you benefit from structures that are historically unequal and you refuse to examine that, that's where tension lies, y'all. See, some black people don't automatically extend full trust because historically, automatic trust was dangerous. It'd get you killed. Okay? Trust me. History has shown that many a people trusted many a white person and ended up hung, lynched, killed, sold. Here's the balance. Many Black Americans also believe in coalition, in solidarity, and real allyship. But allyship requires some things, you all. If you're an ally to the Black people, to us, you have to first listening without being defensive. That's first and foremost. If you can listen without get defensive, then you have a way to be an ally. Number two, your way to allyship is acknowledging historical harm. Can't act like it didn't happen, y'all. Number three, speaking up when racism shows up. You can't just be silent anymore if you want to be an ally. And number four, understanding that proximity to Blackness and Black culture is not the same as understanding the Black experience. I get sick and tired of some of you white women telling me, but I married a Black man and my children are Black. And just because you sleep with a Black person doesn't make you Black, honey. Even through penal injection, you ain't Black. So I don't want to hear that. Well, I know what it feels like to be Black. I have a Black husband. Girl, please. That right there shows you're not ready to be an ally because you don't want to look deep and honestly in yourself and realize that there is a form of white privilege even in saying that. And that makes me nervous when white mothers talk like that, because that tells me they're not willing to do the work to educate their half Black children. So let me close with this. This is not about guilt. It's about awareness. If you want to understand why some Black Americans are cautious and why we are, and rightfully so, stop asking, why don't they trust us? And you need to start asking, what happened that made this distrust happen? History answers that question clearly. And healing starts with honesty, not defensiveness. So for the most part, white people, if I had to sum it up really quickly, we as Black people, we really don't think about you all at all. When we think of you, the majority of us, it is how to survive and thrive around a race of people who historically never cared about us. How do we survive when the enemy is amongst us? That's how we have to, for our own survival, we have to always keep our head on a swivel. It's just the truth. See, you have the luxury and the complexion for the protection of going to any city. When you travel as Black people, we have to make sure, wait a minute, this is a sundown town. They're going to be burning crosses and lynching Negroes in this town after dark. That's why you all white people are so free and trusting and you leave your doors unlocked, because you have the complexion for the protection. But we have to worry if we leave our door unlocked from great-great-grandmother and them, is somebody going to burn a cross? They're going to come in here and shoot me because I know how to read? Yeah. Our nervous system has been tense like this, and we passed it down to our children in generation to generation. Every day I drop my kids off at school, I say, have a great day, have fun, and keep your head on a swivel. That's what it's like being Black in America. Happy Black History Month.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that liked and commented on the other video. It's doing big numbers. I appreciate it. I couldn't get to everybody, but I really appreciate the engagement. I always believed in using analogies as ways to paint what I was trying to convey. And so, you know, I just found it an easier way to kind of get my message across. And so I want to use it in this same video where I want to now convey to white America why Black people have this certain feeling towards white America, and Black Americans' feelings towards reparations. Now, of course, I can't speak for everybody, but the consensus. So for white America, I want you to understand this. I want you to take Animal Planet. I want you to take a lion and a gazelle. Do you ever see a gazelle just stand there as the lion walks up? No. Why? Because for generations, the lion has been ripping the gazelle apart. The lion has been chasing it down and eating it for generations. The gazelle does not trust the lion whatsoever. Why? Because it has been a predator. So do you think that one day that a lion walks up and says, hey, gazelle, we don't eat gazelle anymore. You're tripping. Stop running away from us. and then a gazelle looks at the corner of his eye and see another lion chewing on another gazelle, what do you think the gazelle is going to do? Run. Get away from me. No, I don't want you by me because I don't trust you. I don't trust that I could go to sleep and wake up alive. So until the lion starts to transform its behavior and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to start eating these leaves and these berries and these plants over here, and I'm not going to eat another gazelle. The gazelle is not going to trust you. It's just what it is. All right? So you have to change your nature. Your nature is not displaying trust. And this has been generations of abuse. So no, you can't just one day go, we're not like that anymore, we're going to trust you. You can't go, oh, well, that was my father and father's father and father's father. You know, that was my ancestor that used to eat gazelles. No, you're still eating gazelles. You may not be eating gazelles. You may be the exception. You may be the one that be eating plants and berries and stuff. But you got to look around and see the other lions. The other lions are still eating gazelle. So until you're walking up to them other lions and paw slapping them, hey, stop doing that. That's what the relationship is going to be. You can't ask the mouse to be friends with the cat. That's only going to work in Tom and Jerry. When it comes to reparations, now I'm only talking for foundational Black Americans. I'm not talking about immigrant Africans that have come over here. And if you're an immigrant African, your family, but at the same time, your opinion and your input on reparations is invalid. We don't need to hear your opinion. I mean, you can support, but you're not entitled to any of that money. You're not entitled to any of that equity. You're not entitled to any of it. If you've come over here, yeah, you're probably going to get treated like us anyway because you look like us. You are us. We're family. But we didn't grow up in the same culture. We didn't have the same lineage of oppression. So whatever oppression that you might have came from in Haiti, in Jamaica, or whatever, I can't claim that. I can't claim the oppression of another country because I wasn't there. And if I move over there, I didn't experience it for generations. So stand down, please. Now to white America, look at us as your mafia loan shark. Okay? You borrowed from us. Now, I'm using borrowed very loosely because the real word is kidnapped. But you borrowed from us. You took 300 years of free labor, built generational wealth, built equity, built power. And then when it was time to pay what was due, you didn't pay up. 40 acres and a mule, didn't get it. When we had places like Tulsa and places, Atlanta, burned to the ground. When we have civil rights, we have white people that are claiming Native American status to get in. When we're talking about DEI, white women are at the top of that list. Black people at the bottom of that list. We were not given what was owed. So we are that mafia loan shark because what? You thought that it was going to just die out with the slave owners? No, it passes to the next of kin. Pay up. And it's going to continue to pass to the next of kin until we are paid what is owed. And we're going to keep coming for that ass again. So, and honestly, to the white nationalists and the people that believe that America is just for the white people, you should be some of the biggest champions for reparations. You know why? Because the moment that you give us that money, we can stop looking in the past and start looking to the future. We can no longer throw this in your face. I mean, of course, we can still bring it up because it's history, just like the Holocaust. But we can move forward. We can take steps to move forward. If you want us out of the country so bad, pay us. I'm pretty sure a good portion of us will be glad to go somewhere else. Everything that you're looking for us to shut up, for us to not be bringing up racism no more and all this, if you want all of this stuff, pay us. We can alleviate all of this like immediately. But there's that thing called ego. That ego will not allow you to take accountability and going, hey, why should I pay for something that happened in the past because you're still benefiting? Now, you may be thinking, I grew up poor. I grew up broke. But there's still a level of privilege that you got that me or any other foundational Black American didn't get. We walk into the same places, we get treated differently. You get treated with a smile, I get treated with a scowl and a frown. You get treated as if you're safe, I get treated as if I'm violent and I'm unhinged. No difference, we don't have to have a difference in personality. Me and you could literally be clones. You just came out white and I just came out black, and I will get treated as the outcast. Has nothing to do with personality or anything, intelligence, value. It's just a mindset of colorism. White people have established power in this country for you to continue to benefit from and us to be subjugated to negatively. We've had to fight to vote, fight to be included, fight to learn, fight to exist. And you cannot understand what that energy feels like unless you're one of us. Because when you have to constantly fight, that means you're constantly uncomfortable. You're constantly on guard. And that's not a very enjoyable way to live. But we continue to strive and we continue to propel ourselves forward. So I only say that message to say, listen, I want equality. I want love across the board. But until we address all the negativity and the egregious things that happened in the past, we can never.
So this is for educational purposes only. The question says, why do Black people hate white people so much? It goes both ways. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you why it doesn't work both ways. Never has there been a time in the United States in which Black people had structural power and the ability to weaponize that power to discriminate and hate against white people. However, there was a period of time, a long period of time in the United States in which white people hated Black people for nothing other than their race and had the power to do something about it. White pride is rooted in white supremacy and was birthed out of a place of exerting power and control over other demographics of people. Black pride, on the other hand, was rooted in surviving oppression. Black pride was the conscious collective effort of a community to stop the erasure of culture and history. Any hatred, vitriol, and distrust by Black people for white people is a natural byproduct of years of systemic oppression in the United States. The pathway forward to building that bridge and regaining that trust is for white people to not only acknowledge the egregious acts that the United States government committed against Black Americans, not only acknowledge the wrongdoing of our ancestors. Most white people have done that part. They're starting to acknowledge history, but it stops there. They will say, that's a long time ago, this is now. The problem is today, white people are still feigning ignorance and they're not actively working to stand in solidarity and dismantle the tools of oppression that are still in place today. Most white people, particularly white people on the right, will tell you that systemic racism does not exist today. In spite of the mounting evidence and data, right now in our country, there is this yearning for this kumbaya, can't we all just get along? The problem with that line of thinking is that it's very superficial, it's surface level. In a perfect world, we just say, stop the hate, end racism, everybody get along, and voila, everything will be back to normal. The reason why that never works is because there is something much larger and nefarious at play that profits off of our division. Till we, and when I say we, I mean particularly white people, because black people have been screaming this for years, until we address the institutions and systems that are perpetuating this racism, we will never affect change. You know, there was a time when I used to hear black people say, screw them saltines, I'll say it mildly, but I used to get so mad until I understood the root cause of black pain and black anger in this country. It wasn't until I got educated, I deconstructed and re-educated myself, that my whole worldview and perspective changed. I will never say any form of hatred or bigotry is okay. But if I see hatred coming from a marginalized community, from a group of people that have historically been oppressed, I will try to understand and empathize where that hatred is coming from and do the work to do what I can to de-escalate and defuse that hatred and turn it into love. But that takes a whole lot of work in earning trust. And I don't know what length people who look like me.
So I think from this video there's something that we are gathering, and if there's one thing that is very loud about all these videos is the fact that white people do not understand when a black person says they do not trust them. And I do not understand how that is supposed to be a very hard concept to understand, because considering all the things that black people have gone through, you know, it's an issue of ignorance. I'm sure that white people do not, it does not occur to them that they need to perhaps learn black people's history to know the kind of traumas these people carry, the kind of weight they carry every single day when they are walking on the streets. You know, you're not sure about the people that you will meet. You're not sure about who is going to look at you and think you are a thief, you know. Someone will just look at you, see your skin color and think that you are violent, you know. They are calling police on you for no reason. You know, those kind of things are actually things that make someone get traumatized, and trauma is a very bad thing to happen to anyone. Because then that will mean that every other day someone walks in fear, someone walks worried. They're unsure about everything, you know. It could be as simple as just a stroll across the streets, but you are unsure of what will happen to you, especially, for example, let's say the black men. It should be even harder for them than the females, because they're the ones that are looked up as threats to the society, and it does not matter that they have done anything. It does not matter that they have criminal records or not. And there's also one thing that maybe I would highlight. It's not very relevant here, but I would just say there's this case where black people are always looked up as the ones that are the majority in the jails, you know. They are the ones that are majority when it comes to criminal offenses. And there's a percentage that I keep forgetting, but the percentage is higher than the white people when we're talking about the black people that are in jails. Now, one thing that they keep forgetting is the fact that these people are many in jails, but their percentage is calculated differently because their total population is low. You know, it's definitely going to be higher because their population, their total population is going to be, it's actually very low compared to the white people. The white people are the majority. Now, you cannot start using such a percentage to measure these people and compare them. You know, it's actually very wrong when you do that because it's very unfair, because that's not how it works. You should work a percentage in a different way. Consider the percentage, but also consider the number of people that are outside, because that's how you get the percentage of the ones that are in the cells and jails. So that I don't know how these people are ever going to understand that everything that Black people have gone through does not even allow them a little bit of that kind of reassurance. You know, you cannot trust your own friend because they can turn their backs on you anytime, and any little thing that they say about you. For example, you have a friend and they are white and something happens. For example, they lose their phone. Could very likely not be you, but simply because you were in that room and there were 10 other white people, it's going to be very likely that they will point you out. And even if they find that at long last it wasn't you, there is a little bit of guilt, but not as much. There will be remorse, but not as much as it would be if they were purely white people. And you know, such things, they make you feel unsafe all the time. Or for example, if you were in a relationship, I saw a video once that Black men were complaining about being in a relationship with white women, because that is almost like your own time bomb. You know, it can blow up anytime because you're always a suspect. You're always looked at as someone that is dangerous. You know, it does not matter your criminal records. It does not matter if you have ever been into crime or not. As long as your skin tone is black, then you're a possible culprit in that case. So that kind of uncertainty, that kind of unsafety does not allow someone to feel very safe around white people. And it's not a very hard concept. It's going to be very easy for them if they try to understand that that much, because then that will mean that they do not try to put so much pressure. Even if they are your like best friend, they're not going to put so much pressure on you because they understand where you're coming from. It's not about you hating them. It's not like because they are racist now you are giving it back to everyone without caring if they have had racial tendencies with you. No, it's just something that is not very, very easy to control. It's the trauma. So it is going to be very easy for those that understand. And I'm glad that there are many people, many white people that have come to that understanding, and they get it. They understand when a Black person says, I do not quite understand. Some take offense because, of course, they have gone through a lot of checks and they think that they are not racially discriminating anyone, and it could be possible, but you see, that is just like 0.01% of the total population who are actually not trying so much to do anything different. They're not trying so hard to avoid being racist. So then that almost makes it like a zero, you know. Even if you had a good friend, for example, you are a student, you had a very good friend and they are white. Once you go home and you try to introduce this friend to your parents, they're automatically starting to be worried. They do not know this person. It could be some white person that is totally against this racial discrimination and they want to be different. You know, I know people like those, people that want to be very different. They do not want the population, the rest of the population, to define who they are. But then, you know, it's just so hard because your friend will understand, you know, because they see your effort. They will try to see that you are up to good, but the rest of the family, for example, or the rest of your friends will not see it the same way because they have not experienced the good sides of this person. And all they see is color, and that is dangerous. That is a dangerous person you are working around. and it could just end up into something that will be even more disappointing than you ever thought. So I think that is all that I have to say on this video, and I know you have your thoughts, you have your ideas on this, you have your experiences. If you've had an experience where your skin color got you into a problem that you were never part of, you could share with us. If you've had a friend that encountered something that was crazy, maybe you could share with us so that our brothers and sisters keep watch of themselves and take care of themselves a little bit more. So guys, new subscribers, thank you so much for choosing to be here. Returning subscribers, always in my heart. And thank you so much for always choosing to grow my channel and to even encourage me to keep going and keep going. The comments that you leave, they give me more energy, you know, to push, to keep pushing and keep doing a lot of research and bringing you this kind of content. So for the new people in the house, kindly consider subscribing. And if you like this kind of content, this is home for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends, family, people that are like-minded, and I think that's all that I can say for now, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye for now.